Several Manchester United players reportedly want Gareth Southgate to become the new Manchester United manager. Return date from injury for LeAndre Martinez revealed. Victor Lindelof speaks out about his future at the club, and Manchester United have identified their number one target to replace Casemiro at the club this summer. These are some of the topics we will be discussing on this morning's show. But before we jump into that, please smash a like on today's video. Subscribe to the channel if this is the first time watching, and let's get straight on into it. So let's start off with some positivity, as I like to always do on this show. And this is about LeAndre Martinez. So the news coming out this morning is that Manchester United are hopeful that LeAndre Martinez will be available for their trip to Brentford on March the 30th. It says Manchester United have given Martinez permission to join up with the Argentina squad in the international break to give him some high-intensity training ahead of his comeback. It says, however, the club would prefer that he doesn't feature in games against El Salvador and Costa Rica. So that's really, really positive. I think we've really missed LeAndre Martinez. He is, in my opinion, our best defender alongside Varane. I think he's quality. Johnny Evans has been good this season and he's surprised a lot of us, but at the end of the day, Martinez, for the type of football Erik ten Hag wants to play, you need a progressive centre-back. You need someone who's fast, somebody who can pass the ball, somebody who can push that defence further up the pitch. And LeAndre Martinez is that player. Now, obviously, he's had his injury troubles this season, which has been really, really disappointing. I think he was absolutely pivotal to the success that Erik ten Hag had in his first season last year, obviously getting third place, getting to the FA Cup final and winning the League Cup. Whereas if you look at this season, he's missed 32 games through injury already. That's probably 2/3 of the games we've played in all competitions, roughly. It's really disappointing, and I was devastated when he got injured, because when you look back at the rest of Martinez's career at Ajax at international level, he's barely missed any football whatsoever. He only missed 2 games in his whole time at Ajax. Whereas this season he's missed 32 matches, which is really disappointing. But I can't wait to see him back on the pitch. So that will be against Brentford on the 30th of March. That's our next Premier League game. It's a must-win game if we're going to get 5th or 4th. So yeah, really, really happy. And I think that does, improve our chances of getting that Champions League place, because, Tottenham and Aston Villa have got a really hard running. So we've got to go beat Brentford, pile on the pressure, and hopefully LeAndre Martinez is a major part of that. Moving on to the next story, though, and that is about Gareth Southgate. This guy just doesn't seem to want to go away, does he? This is coming out from Mark Ogden, who reports for ESPN, very good journalist. He is reporting this morning that apparently several Manchester United players are already on board with the idea of Gareth Southgate becoming the club's new manager. I mean, I've spoke about this, and it's pretty obvious to identify who these players are, isn't it, realistically? Harry Maguire's career at Manchester United is effectively over. He should have been sold last summer. But Gareth Southgate picks him in every single squad, and he starts every single game for England. So obviously this is just me making assumptions. I don't know for a fact that it's Harry Maguire, but you can kind of look at the squad and see who the players are who would get something from Gareth Southgate becoming the manager. They would reinvent themselves at Manchester United. They'd probably be starting every single game. It's a no from me. It's a massive, massive no. And there's more stories coming out this morning that he is literally the odds-on favourite to replace Erik ten Hag if he's being sacked. And then after that is Graham Potter, neither of which I want. And I don't know what would happen if we got Gareth Southgate. I think there'll be absolute outrage from the fan base, from what I've seen. Obviously, all the pundits on Sky Sports and TalkSport, they're all saying, some of them are saying that he'd be better than Erik ten Hag and that he's got a better record than Erik ten Hag. The guy's never won any trophies in his career. Like, obviously he has as a player, but as a manager, he's just failed time and time again. And if anybody who watches the England national team, we've got, in my opinion, probably one of the best national team by way of players. And there's no style of play. Well, there is. It's just park the bus, counter-attacking, which, in all fairness, if Jim Ratcliffe's plan is to buy as little amount of players as possible and to try and get Harry Maguire and Marcus Rashford to stay at the club for the next 3 or 4 years, then obviously Gareth Southgate probably is a good person, if that's their plan. But we can all see clearly that we need open heart surgery, as Ralph Ragnick said. We need 10, 15 players to be sold from that squad this summer. And I don't think that Gareth Southgate represents that. I think Gareth Southgate would be the kind of guy who would come in and, give everybody another chance and would just be a yes man, he'd just be a puppet effectively. He'd do whatever he's told. And I think Erik ten Hag has rustled some feathers at Manchester United. He really, really has. And that's why I want him to stay, because, he's dealt with some difficult things and I think he's dealt with most of it quite well, in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think about Gareth Southgate in the comment section. Stories like this don't do anybody any favours, in my opinion. Who are these players leaking these stories to these journalists saying that they want Gareth Southgate to become the new manager? It doesn't do anybody any favours. It's just embarrassing. But we know what these players are like. They're always leaking stuff. They're always blaming it on other people. They're never taking any responsibility themselves. So it's hardly surprising that these stories are starting to come out. Let me know what you guys think about that. Moving on to the next story, and that is about Casemiro's potential replacement. The headline this morning is this: Manchester United have identified £40 million rated Wolves midfielder João Gomez as a potential replacement for Casemiro in the summer. So João Gomez is 23 years of age. He signed for Wolves last summer for a fee of around €20 million. Brazilian. I think he's just got into the national team. He is very much a kind of a CDM. He's a similar kind of model to Casemiro, a similar style of player. He's played 24 games in the Premier League this season. He scored 2 goals and got an assist as well, which isn't bad for a CDM. I like this guy. I think he's decent. I think he would be a good replacement for Casemiro. Casemiro is now 32, I believe, which I know in the grand scheme of things isn't that old. But to play in the Premier League, I think that's, you're kind of pushing it a little bit there, personally. Maybe I'm wrong. I just think in that midfield, you need legs. And I think that Casemiro is a little bit slow. He looks a little bit sluggish these days. And bringing in a 23-year-old or someone in their early 20s to replace him at this stage probably does make a lot of sense. Obviously, we know Casemiro is on absolutely ridiculous wages as well. He's on around £350,000 a week, whereas João Gomez at Wolves, it will be on considerably less than that. So, he could come into Manchester United. I'm just having a look now. He earns £30,000 a week at Wolves. So even if you gave him double that, it would only be £60,000 a week, which when you compare that to Casemiro earning £350, it's crazy. It's light and day. I would be interested in getting this guy. I think he's done well for Wolves this season. Wolves have been a good side. I think, I like this player. But let me know what you guys think about him. João Gomez, available for around £40 million, Brazilian international, linked heavily with Manchester United if Casemiro was to move. Obviously, we know that Saudi are interested. We know that Cristiano Ronaldo is reportedly trying to get him to go to Al Nassr. So I'll keep you updated on that one. There are so many different options and profiles available in the centre midfield market this window. We definitely need one, that's a fact. Obviously, there's people like this João Gomez, and there's so many other names out there, isn't there? So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. But I would be interested in this deal for 40 million because I think it represents a good value for money. And I like it. He's young and he's a good profile. So let me know what you guys think about that one. Moving on to the next story, we're going to talk a little bit about Victor Lindelof and his future at Manchester United. So he's been speaking whilst on international duty. I do quite like the international break, just that you get lots of interviews from players. I don't like watching international football, to be honest. I have no interest in it. But I like it for hearing the players speak and stuff. I find it quite interesting. So anyway, Victor Lindelof has said the following about whether he would move to Saudi Arabia in the summer. He says, I haven't actually thought about it yet. Maybe I don't really feel like I'm there in my career that I want to move away. I feel like I want to stay in Europe and play football at that level at the moment. So Victor Lindelof is into his final year of his contract. It will expire next season. So we need to sell him now if we're going to sell him. He'll be 30 years of age in a couple of months, which again isn't that old, but I think, 30 years of age, 1 year left of his contract, it probably is the time to start thinking about moving him on. He has contributed quite a lot this season, though, if I'm being completely fair. He's played 26 times across all competitions. So, he has really, really contributed. But if you compare that to last season, it's a completely different story. And, if Martinez was available this season, it would be very, very different, I think. But let me know what you guys think. What would you do with Victor Lindelof? I definitely think he's a good squad player. I would much rather keep him and sell Harry Maguire if that was an option. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I think he's okay. I do think he has his limitations though. I don't think he's very physical. But overall, I think he's a better player than Harry Maguire for me personally. So if it was between Maguire and Lindelof, I'd keep Lindelof and get rid of Maguire. Just because I think he's a better player and I think he suits Erik ten Hag's system more. Whereas obviously if you flip that on the side, if Gareth Southgate comes in, we know that Gareth Southgate likes Harry Maguire, so you'd obviously keep Harry Maguire. So it's quite a difficult one to comment on, really, because, Gareth Southgate would love Harry Maguire because he does love him for the international team, whereas, Erik ten Hag, I just don't think Maguire has the pace for an Erik ten Hag style team, which we all know. But you can let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section. I'm going to wrap the video up here. That's all of our talking points for this morning's show. If you have enjoyed today's video, please smash a like. It doesn't cost you any money. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and get in the comment section and let me know your thoughts on everything we discussed. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, everybody. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I'll speak to you all a bit later.